The Tony Hawk series has always supplied players with a decent amount of cheats to play around with, but when you look at the entire series, something stands out about Tony Hawk's Underground 2. There's hardly any cheats for it at all. At least there was. You see, for the longest time when you looked for THUG2 cheat codes, there was hardly anything. That one useful cheat for perfect balance didn't even work on the other platforms. It's safe to say the cheat code menu for Tony Hawk's Underground 2 was about as useful as Polly's right leg. Still, some legitimate codes did surface, like the ability to play as Nigel Beaverhausen and Phil, but other than like 5 lone codes, there was basically nothing. Or was there? PSP reverse engineering hobbyist CB9001 was digging around in the THUG2 remix files and found there were quite a number of cheat codes buried in the game. What's more is he found a list of what they were for every other platform as well. So he hit pay dirt, right? Well, not exactly. All the cheat codes were encrypted with a cyclic redundancy check. 100,000 times. If changing up the passwords for every console wasn't enough to trip people up when it came to sharing them, Neversoft decided to make it nigh impossible for anyone to get them at all. CB9001 wasn't deterred and wrote a brute force decryptor to figure out what the rest of the codes were. After all these years, we can finally see what some of these codes are. But there's still some missing. Of course, there's not like there's anything really spectacular here. If you're expecting Daisy's THUG2 form, she ain't here. I looked. No, in fact, even though the codes are encrypted, there are string values that blatantly tell you exactly what the cheat does, and it's nothing the game doesn't already give you through the campaign and classic mode progression. Well, except 2 things. The DJ and Southern Belle skaters in Atlanta were mistakenly left out of the unlock script, making them unobtainable. This, along with a few other bugs like that weird camera placement and character select, were actually fixed in a revision of the game, but that revised, updated build was never released. The only way to get these skaters is to figure out what those cheat codes are. Or, just use GameShark, or download that updated build that was leaked, but that still leaves us with unanswered questions. We may never know what the codes really are. Speaking of leaked builds, there were a few prototypes of THUG2 that eventually surfaced. There's nothing too different about them, except for this cutscene in Boston. You ever notice how awkward the line delivery is after Bam hits the guy with the tennis ball?
Yes, I'm just doing that chick a favor.
Maybe you didn't notice. I probably didn't notice either, until I saw the original cutscene.
Nice catch, dumbass. Probably not the first time you had balls on your face. Nice catch, dumbass. Yes, I'm just doing that chick a favor.
Yes, it makes the final line feel more jarring when you hear the flow of the original one. So why was it changed? Probably because it was a bit too explicit for the youth. You don't need to look too deep into the prototypes to find cool stuff though. Present in the final game is a debug mode. Don't worry, unlike my video of the THPS4 dev build, I'm not going to go over everything in painstaking detail here. Mostly because a lot of those familiar debug features have already been removed at this stage. But there's still quite a lot to play with here. Not only can you swap your characters out within the levels, you can also play as characters that were never made to be playable, including this model of Nigel Beaverhausen's exposed ass, which surely must have been the original model for this cutscene in Australia. You can even change your model into some of the animals, but they look like they were hit by a car. Bizarrely, the Doom guy from the PC version of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 is listed as a playable character, but the model is invisible in the game and every ollie has a massive spin. There's the other usual debug stuff like adjusting the lighting, day and night cycle testing, menu testing, and we even get a cutscene viewer, though it loads the cutscene animation data into whatever level you happen to be in, which can lead to some humorous results. There's even a whole section for some debug cutscenes, this weird bouncing box of Musca, particle emissions test, whatever the hell is going on here. Part of the fascination I have with this stuff is trying to figure out what the hell they were possibly testing this for, and why did the test turn out like this in particular? What the hell is this? But of course the main attraction has got to be the debug map. I love debug maps so much. They're like the Picasso painting of your favorite game. Some fever trip you would have when you're having a sick day at school and mommy's cough syrup is kicking in. A weird mishmash purgatory of random items and events from every corner of the world packed together into one. Honestly, it's a bit eerie seeing one of your favorite games in such a state. It's like performing an autopsy on someone you love. The lifeless NPCs, it's fucking scary. Alright guys, that's it. THUG2, great game. Next time you feel like playing a game, play this game. And if you're feeling adventurous, Try it with some of these Game Shark codes. Or give Remix a try. I never even played that version of the game until making this video, and although it's really just a low quality version of the main game, there's a new branch to the story and some new maps to play in. But sadly, a missed opportunity to add Bangkok. We may never know if Polly really did choke out a hooker after Bam wrote a fake challenge on the Wheel of Loogies. Anyways, thanks for watching. If you found this video interesting, please subscribe, and I'll see you next time.